Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace. I'm your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs, and I'm also a legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles area. So one of the things people wonder about is, how am I supposed to have an amicable divorce? Right? Like, I really want an amicable divorce, and I think it might be, but I think it might explode too. No one gets married thinking they're going to get a divorce. And people don't go into a divorce going, let's start a war. They really hope to have an amicable divorce. And for as much as it is up to you, you should try to do so. And it could be that on some issues you can agree and others you can't. But let's talk about, in general, what this would look like. So here are the benefits to an amicable divorce. It doesn't mean that my spouse is a pushover and I'm going to get whatever I want. That's not what that means. Okay. So benefits is it's going to reduce your stress because you're going to be able to communicate with this person. And it's going to reduce the stress on your children as well if you have children. It's going to reduce the stress on your friends too because divorce is emotionally draining and it is scary and it is stressful. And then you need support, so you're going to your friends, which is normal. But then if you have the extra drama of somebody's playing games or you're playing games and you're doing crazy-ish, that's just going to create more stress. So it's going to reduce your stress if you're working together. Who cares if people don't understand? Who cares if people are like, why are you talking to your ex? Why are you just get a lawyer and lawyer up? Don't listen to that person. Okay. It's more cost effective, right? So either this person has never been divorced or they had just money to burn. Or it's like a client I met the other day. I don't care. I'm going to be happy either way. We can use all our money on lawyers. So somebody who's really upset. But for the most part, don't listen to that person because you want a divorce that is cost effective. It is far less expensive to work with the LDA and to work with a mediator than to have two sets of lawyers. You're going to resolve your divorce faster, right? Because you're not waiting on the court's calendar. You're not waiting for your lawyer to file motion after motion after motion after motion and finally decide, let's see if we can do a settlement conference and settle this. No, you're working to finalize these papers and get into mediation as soon as possible so that you can work this out. And you could potentially, within 30 days, file for divorce, have your spouse served, complete your financial disclosures, and get into mediation, and maybe possibly be working on your final agreement within 30 days of filing for divorce. It's not unrealistic. So, what does this look like? Well, one of the first steps is you have to have effective communication. There has to be open dialogue. Now, you don't need to tell them who you're sleeping with, what is happening there, what kind of dates you're going on, but you need to be open about your finances, open about your children, what needs need to happen, that you actually do need support and why you potentially need support. You need to be honest about these things. You need to have and practice active listening. So normally we listen so that we can talk, but listen to hear and have a notepad with you so that you can take notes on things that you want to remember that you say. And then you have to have a non-confrontational approach. You're using I statements. And you have to, when you're active listening and someone is talking to you, you have to let them talk. You have to hear them out. Even if it's BS, you have to hear them out. And then when it's your turn to talk, that other person has to give you the opportunity to talk. If they're closing doors and walking away from you and making wild accusations, that's not active listening. And that's not good communication. And so as you begin to talk about some of these dicey issues, and you're doing your best to have a non-confrontational approach, but it devolves into yelling and screaming and misunderstanding or just like the silent treatment, this is when you need to call in outside help. This is when you want to have a mediator like myself helping you have these conversations because someone is dysregulated. And communication still needs to happen because these matters need to be solved. Yes, you can solve them in court. You can absolutely have a person in a black robe that you've never met before decide your life, or you guys could decide that with the help of somebody who can help you communicate, who doesn't actually make decisions for you. Okay. And that leads to my next point. You want to utilize mediation. It's very common for couples to come to me and they have agreement on some issues, and then there's a few that they need a little bit of help with, a little bit of conversation about. That's perfectly normal because every time they talk, either they begin to fight or they can't see another solution. They can't reach an agreement, or they feel like their spouse is like lying or not giving them a good deal. So they come to mediation because they want to hear what other people have done. They want to generate new ideas. They want to hear, different proposals from their spouse and have it go back and forth so that they can really have a full conversation. They want to feel safe in expressing themselves in those types of conversations. That's a lot of the reasons why people choose mediation. And then you want to win. Another thing, as you're having an amicable divorce, is focus on your children's best interest. And this is, to me, a really big key. If kids can be decided upon, if people, maybe they need help to mediate their divorce and help to mediate their parenting plan, but kids aren't used as a pawn, they're not used as a weapon, it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. You're going to get through the dicey financial conversations if you can decide about your kid. It's probably not a high conflict divorce. So you really want to focus on what is best for our kids. Even if your spouse is not thinking that, you have the ability to go, I don't know if that's best for Susan. I don't know. I think what is best for Charlie is this, because you know how he does X, Y, and Z. He seems to like this. Should we try that for a while? So you can redirect your spouse back to what is best for your child. You also want to think about, and I say that a lot, I'm sorry, because I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm strongly encouraging you what to do. Allow your other parent, the other parent, to have contact with your child when they're with you. I recognize that sometimes that's disruptive. The constant messages at night, every night, when they are with you. But when they are with them, you don't do the same thing. Like somebody's not getting it, right? Constantly wanting to FaceTime every time they're with you. You can build that in so it's not invasive, so it only happens a bit. It doesn't have to happen every night, because really that can impact a routine, a nighttime routine, and you don't want that. But there should be regular ongoing communication if they're away from their other parent for a big chunk of time. And so you talk about what that should look like. And then the more you guys can regulate yourselves and decrease your conflict, the better well-adjusted your kids will be. The faster they will adjust to this divorce, the happier they will be, the quicker they will bounce back. So practical tips for having a smoother process: be organized. Divorce is a lot of paperwork. Be organized. Maybe even create a new email address, mydivorce@gmail.com or something like that, just so that you can have a place to store your divorce only information. Get yourself organized. Be flexible. Know that the first thing you propose, your spouse is going to say no to. Make a counter proposal. Be ready to do that dance. Negotiation is a dance. So dance with them. You move and they move the other way, and then it comes back to you. Get ready to dance. Get ready to know that you're not going to get exactly what you want. So come prepared. Come prepared and be flexible, and recognize the fact that maybe something better could possibly maybe come out of this. Maybe my soon-to-be ex actually has a good idea and it's better than mine, and it might actually be better for our kids. I know that's a revolutionary thought, But sometimes it works out like that. And you got to be humble enough to be like, oh, okay, let's do that. You want to seek professional guidance, right? You can't do it all. The mediator can't do it all. So work with other professionals. Your therapist can't do it all. Work with the CDFA. Consult with an attorney. Talk to a realtor that specializes in divorce so that you can have professionals around you so that you can have a really great divorce, right? Like, that was an awesome divorce. And you can have a really great agreement so that you can start this new chapter in your life ready and happy and like, okay, nobody got taken to the cleaners and we're both going to be okay. Lastly, in order to have an amicable divorce, you have to take care of yourself. If you are dysregulated, you ain't gonna be nice. It's just too dang dong hard. So you got to take time for yourself. You have to do the things that pour back into your tank, that fill you up, that make you feel beautiful, that make you feel alive, that make you thrive, make you happy to be on this planet. That make you feel loved. And sometimes it's not what you think. Sometimes it's like, man, that person's having a worse time than I'm doing. I feel better. Let me go volunteer with this charitable organization because these people's lives, they're awful compared to mine. So what if for a moment I get my mind off of my problems and go help somebody else who's in a worse situation than me? That is self-care. It's taking your mind off your problems. You're helping someone else. It shifts your perspective. It's so radical. Okay, so that's a different lens to think about. It's not just me, me, me. You can care for others. Now, obviously we care for our children and that can be draining. But I'm talking about something totally different. But you have to make sure you care for yourself. Eat well, exercise, get the sleep that you can get. Don't drink too much alcohol. Okay? Don't do too many drugs. Just really be moderate. Be moderate in your nighttime activities too, and your partners. Be moderate, please. You just, this is status quo right now, right? Don't go crazy right now, please. You need support. You need friends. You need family. You need new people that you've met who are going through this same thing that you are. There is nothing like meeting a group of people who are going through a divorce. Suddenly you don't feel crazy. So you need to find other support people because no one's gone through a divorce quite like you. And the people who are not currently going through a divorce, they ain't got time for you. Like, they love you, but they're not ready. They don't have the emotional capacity that you need to help you through this. But there are lots of support groups out there and they'll get you through. They'll get you through. Don't forget to give back when you get on the other side. And then pay someone. Get that therapy support. Get that help. Get that divorce coach to help you strategize how you're going to walk through this. But the more your fears are calmed down, the better you feel, the easier it is to connect, my words are not coming. The easier it is going to be to have these conversations with your spouse and keep things amicable, to keep the lid from blowing off. Okay? You can do this. Take it a step at a time. Your intention, your mindset controls everything. You can do this. If you have more questions, you need more details about this, follow up with me. I'd love to hear from you.